born here on October 15th, 1925, and grows up during the Depression. It's a tough town and a tough time. His father develops the boy's resiliency by encouraging him to fight. But Dale sees the effects of poverty, neglect, and malnutrition, and decides, while just in his teens, to become a doctor. He also has a desire to make money. Dale meets Helen Jean Pierce, the stunning, elegant daughter of the doctor. They have an instant attraction, and Dale has a lot in common with her father. After 2 years in the Navy, he marries Helen, and her father, Dr. Pierce, hints that when Dale successfully finishes medical school, he may get a placement at the hospital Pierce intends to build.
It's clear Dale is a very gifted medical student at Washington University in St. Louis. He and Helen live very simply. In fact, they postpone having children until after he's finished medical school.
But despite the early promise of their marriage, just 3 years later, Helen surprises friends and family by demanding a divorce. She will not state her reasons. A mutual friend of the couple, Marion Newberry, comforts Dale and soon becomes his new flame. They get engaged and marry in October of 1952. Marion assumes her brilliant husband, who is interning in Baltimore, will aim for a top job on the East Coast. But he announces they're moving just a few miles north of El Dorado. Dale is returning to his rural roots. Dale's work at Hamilton Memorial Hospital wins him adoring patients. He's a success, and people are attracted to him. Dr. Dale and his wife Marion have their first son, Mark Dale Cavanis, born on October 15th, 1954. Their second child, Kevin Dale, follows in 1956. A third boy, Sean, in 1962. And then the fourth, Patrick, in 1966. Dale is offered a job in El Dorado by his ex-father-in-law, Dr. Pierce, and Dale accepts. His wife's family blames her for the split. Pierce is delighted by Dale's impressive qualifications for the hospital. Marianne is disappointed in her husband's choice of rural El Dorado, but she follows Dale's career. A doctor of his caliber in a small town is rare. A cult of Dr. Dale grows, and he's almost worshipped like the mighty life-giving Nile.
Dr. Dale Cavanis becomes known simply as Dr. Dale in the community. He'll do pro bono work whenever it's needed. He's often seen to be just very compassionate. He becomes tremendously successful, and in being successful, he makes a fair bit of money. What he does is he invests in things like cattle farming and even catfish farming. Dr. Dale has a reputation in El Dorado because of his intensity. He's seen as someone who can really go from 0 to 60 in an instant. But this is largely accepted because he's so well liked in the community and he's so successful. But on the other side of it, he's also developed a bit of a reputation almost as a ladies' man, if you will.
Dr. Dale is caught in an affair. his indiscretion discovered by his wife, Marion. But he has more surprises in store for his wife. She learns that they're broke, as farming businesses are floundering. The family has more bad fortune. The Cavaness home burns down, and while no one is harmed, they lose everything and must move into a hotel, to be followed by a move into 2 trailers, while the insurance company settles a $100,000 claim.
Dr. Dale really seems in no rush to rebuild at this point. His family even wonders where the $100,000 is gone. His father is furious that he's not making the effort to look after his family.
In 1971, Dr. Dale has an accident while driving drunk, and he kills a father and his 10-month-old child. Dr. Dale's sunny future is now in jeopardy. He pleads guilty to reckless homicide and is charged with driving while intoxicated, unlawful possession of a loaded pistol, and shotgun. He receives 2 years of probation and a $1,000 fine. His loyal supporters rally behind him.
I think he felt like he was mostly above reproach. He thought that if he died, so be it. If someone else died, that's not his problem.
He's almost clinical in the way he refers to the accident, as referenced by the fact that he said, well, everybody has to die sometime. You would think that this kind of statement would kill a doctor's career in a small community, but Dr. Dale manages to get past it.
Dr. Dale's loyal patients see him more as a victim of unfortunate circumstances than a perpetrator of crime. His reputation is unsullied. But Dr. Dale's second marriage does not survive. Marion moves the boys to St. Louis, and in December of 1971, files for divorce.
From secondhand accounts, there were many allegations that he had both physically and verbally abused her, emotionally abused her for a number of years before she finally left him.
The children struggle in their new surroundings. Drugs are commonplace here. Mark and Sean, who most favor their father's looks, crave their distant father's approval. Mark drops out of school and goes back to El Dorado to work on his father's catfish farm. 1977. The whole family meet in El Dorado for Easter. But Mark is missing. Sean finds the body, dead by a gunshot wound, and police determine Mark's death is a tragic accident. Sean drinks heavily to deal with the trauma and heads out to Oklahoma, but without purpose, sinking deep into alcohol abuse. In December 1983, he returns home and enters rehab. Determined to show his independence, he rents an apartment in St. Louis. But he has trouble finding a job, and by December 1984, his substance abuse is back in full swing. Sean's neighbors notice a visitor entering his apartment. Shortly after, Sean and the mystery visitor decide to take a drive.
Strapless bras never fit small-chested women. You get awful cup gaps, and the bra never stays up. Meet the bra that you can actually count on by Pepper, the bra company just for small boobs. The MVP strapless bra gives you flattering lift that stays up all day with no cup gaps, specially designed for double A to B cups.
The bra speaks for itself. It fits me like a glove.
It's a strapless bra perfected for small boobs. Go to wearpepper.com.
I've been driving a truck all my life. That's what I like, because I was like being free. You can go what you want, do what you want. In 2013, a bear ran across the front of my truck, and I had to avoid him instead of hitting him. I got a good settlement for it and everything, and that helped me to go out and acquire gold and silver. When I got the settlement, I just stuck it in the bank, and that's when I got the brochure from U.S. Money Reserve, and that's when I decided I can make more money with this than I could have leaving it in the bank. Because if I put 20 grand of paper in there and I had 20 grand of gold, paper ain't gonna make me any money. I just bought it because it's my insurance policy. So my family will have it, Kay will have it, and we won't have to worry about money anymore. It was the best thing I ever did, I tell you. It's worth a lot more than paper is that you got in your wallet. It's nice holding it in your hands, but I'll tell you, it's real nice.
If you've bought gold in the past or would like to learn more about why physical gold should be an important part of your portfolio, pick up the phone and call to receive the complete guide to buying gold, which will provide you with important, never-seen-before facts you should know about making gold, silver, and platinum purchases.
Call now to also receive our new 2024 Global Gold Forecast Special Report. Inside, you'll find the real issues on why you need to start owning gold today. You can also receive a copy of our new report, Protection in the Risk Zone.
Pick up the phone and call America's Gold Authority, U.S. Money Reserve. With 2 decades in business, over $1 billion in transactions, and more than 500,000 clients worldwide, U.S. Money Reserve is one of the most dependable gold distributors in America.
What happens in Vegas stays. Not anymore. Play Quick Hit Slots, the free-to-play mobile slots game that everyone is playing from coast to coast. Quick Hit Slots gives you all the fun and excitement of authentic Vegas slots. So if you love daily bonuses with endless spins and prizes, Quick Hit Slots and you are a winning combination. Download Quick Hit Slots for free and get a 6 million coin bonus. Make every day a winning day.
When you get approved with Drive Time, you get the real deal.
It's the Drive Time Real Deal Maker.
It lets you customize the real down payment and monthly payment of the car you want to buy.
That's super smart.
And the deal you make on your phone is the deal you pay.
You make the deal yourself.
Get the real deal at drivetime.com.
I am a prophet of God.
The whole church operated as a scam.
Why isn't someone doing something?
What we did not want is a Waco. We didn't want a standoff.
Legal Justice, Fridays at 8. El Dorado, Illinois. Predominantly white, El Dorado has the dubious distinction of being a formerly racially segregated sundown town where non-whites are not welcome after dark. Dr. Deo tends to the residents of El Dorado, delivering the babies, caring for the seniors, friends, and neighbors at their best and worst moments, and doing so with compassion. But the Cavanis family itself is troubled with affairs, a broken marriage, a tragic accident that Dr. Dale himself perpetrates, the accidental death of the eldest Cavanis son, Mark, and now Dr. Dale's second son, Sean, is visited by someone who means him harm. Only 22, Sean Cavanis has shown no mercy. Murdered in cold blood. 2 shots fired into his body at close range.
Who could have hated Sean Cavanis that much to have murdered him this way?
The day after Sean's unknown night visitor takes him for a drive, a farmer finds a body lying on its back with both arms resting parallel to the torso. There is no identification present, and the farmer calls police. The body of Sean Cavaness is identified by his fingerprints.
Autopsy report reveals cause of death for Sean was due to 2 gunshot wounds through the back of the skull. Friends didn't indicate that he was intoxicated, but toxicology reports do not lie and indicated that he had a very high amount of alcohol within his system.
It's inconceivable to friends and family that Sean should end up this way. He's described as being a kid at heart and a perfect gentleman. If anyone he loved was ever in trouble, he'd step up and be there for them.
No one can forget that it was Sean, only 15 at the time, who discovered the body of his beloved elder brother Mark, killed by an accidental gunshot wound.
I think there was, scavengers had consumed most of the flesh on the skull, I believe, and some of the vertebrae and arms. Very, very gruesome scene. I mean, any scene like that would be awful, but I think that made it much more so.
Sean's been grappling with the trauma of that event ever since, and it's a tragedy that he's really become a lost soul. The execution-style killing, combined with Sean's alcohol addiction and drug issues, would almost make it look like it was a drug deal or a robbery that went bad. These circumstances could indicate that the killer had no personal attachment to the victim. They were merely motivated by money.
What kind of trouble was Sean in? And who visits him in his apartment that night? At the time of his death, Sean is dating a young woman, Tina Crowley of St. Louis. Their relationship is getting serious, and shortly before Sean's death, the two are discussing marriage.
Tina reports that it was Sean's dream to give his dad a grandson to carry on the Cavaness name. This detail seems benign on the surface, but ultimately investigators will talk to anyone and everyone that was close to Sean to see if there was a motive.
Police conduct an investigation into the death of Sean Cavaness. They visit Dr. Dale's office and ask routine questions. Dr. Dale reveals he hasn't seen his son Sean in 4 or 5 weeks, and that he was at a large Christmas party the night of Sean's murder. Dr. Dale is a public figure, and he won't be difficult to trace.
And witnesses have Dr. Dale celebrating the upcoming season. He was the life of the party.
The officer follows up with all the members of Sean's family. They recount their whereabouts and when they last saw Sean.
This is incredibly traumatic for friends and family, but every detail is important. Even the smallest detail could lead to a break in the case.
Neighbors in Sean's block are questioned about whether they saw or heard anything suspicious in the building that night.
The painstaking work can ultimately lead to a breakthrough in the case.
It's here, in the apartment building, that a mystery starts to open up. Investigating officers learn about suspicious activity at the apartment block. From an apartment window, 2 tenants notice a suspicious car cruising the area the night of Sean's murder.
And finally, they thought, boy, that seems kind of odd. So they wrote down the make and model of the car and what the license plate was.
The officer gets a match. The driver of the vehicle is ID'd, and the answer is unexpected. Sean Cavaness, son of a prominent local physician in El Dorado, Illinois, who has struggled with addiction, is found shot to death execution style. He's the second Cavaness son dead by gunshot wound. His father, known in their small community as Dr. Dale, is loved and respected by many, though he is known as volatile and has made enemies. On the night of Sean's murder, neighbors spot a suspicious car circling Sean's apartment block. They write down the license plate number and give it to police. Police trace the license plate and learn that the car belongs to Dr. Dale.
Dr. Dale tells police he hasn't seen Sean in over a month, and it's possible that he just drove by the apartment, but the neighbors have more to tell.
That night, the couple report that they hear two distinct sets of footprints leaving the apartment about 3 a.m. They also see Sean and Dr. Dale embrace outside the apartment, and they definitely recognize the well-known Dr. Dale. There's no mistaking that Dr. Dale is with his son, Sean.
He's caught in a brazen lie because a couple of very observant neighbors took the time to jot down a license plate and turn that information over to police. The family reunites to bury Sean, the second son to die of a gunshot wound. Only this time it's murder.
Kevin speaks lovingly about his brother Sean, but his father interrupts him and tells him not to make Sean into something he wasn't, and adds that Sean was an embarrassment to him.
There are all kinds of ways that people react to grief, from anger to sadness. There's just no way to predict what that reaction is going to be.
Police tell Dr. Dale about the witnesses who have destroyed his alibi and have him firmly placed with his son Sean on the night of his murder.
Dr. Dale sticks to his story that he hasn't seen Sean for weeks, and the fact that there are eyewitnesses doesn't seem to faze him. Police keep him in custody overnight so he can think about his alibi.
After one night in the cell, Dr. Dale is finally ready to explain what really happened. Dr. Dale reveals he did visit his son Sean at his apartment on the night of Sean's murder. According to Dr. Dale, father and son hit the Mississippi waterfront bars, drinking hard.
That's an alarming disregard for Sean's alcohol problem, and police have to be concerned about that.
And the story gets stranger. Dr. Dale says, while driving past some fields, Sean asks him to stop the cart because he wants to look at cows. Dr. Dale indulges him. Dr. Dale says Sean asked to see his .357 Magnum, and Dr. Dale gives it to him. Then he goes back to his car to get a soda. It's then he hears Sean cry out. According to Dr. Dale, Sean says, "Tell Mom I'm sorry." He pulls the trigger and shoots himself.
That story accounts for one bullet, but not the second. Dr. Dale explains that the idea of Sean committing suicide would have destroyed his mother Marion, so he decided to stage a robbery scene.
Dr. Dale says he grabs Sean by the belt, removes Sean's wallet, rolls him over onto his left side, picks up the gun, backs off 2 or 3 paces, and shoots a shot in the back of the head.
He was 22 when he was killed, and then the age of the son in the second murder also was 22.
Well, investigators are shocked by the fact that a father could shoot his own son even after he's dead. But police have come to know this about Dr. Dale, that he's cold and almost clinical when dealing with these types of situations.
Dr. Dale tells police where they can find the wallet and other evidence, and the items are retrieved. Dr. Dale says he puts the gun in his car behind the driver's seat and uses a towel to wipe off his son's right hand to remove powder burns. But then an important detail resonates with police investigating the case, and it connects to the death of Dr. Dale's other son, Mark.
At Consumer Cellular, we pride ourselves on getting you the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. But don't worry, we've got a lot more than that going for us. Woo! Like this beautiful store in Arizona, for example. It's the perfect place for me to tell you a little bit more about our phones and how they can become your phones. You name it, we probably got it. We have the top smartphones from all the major companies. If it's state-of-the-art cameras you want with space-age metal housing, we got them. If you want a smartphone with lots of bells and whistles but won't break the bank, we've got that too. We even have flip phones like the Iris Flip. If you're someone that doesn't need all that mumbo-jumbo and just wants something simple. And now, we even have watches.
We do.
No matter what device you choose, you'll be happy to know that if your data needs change,
No problem.
with our SmartFlex feature, you don't have to sweat it. Like say you're on a road trip out west and end up using a bunch of data. We can simply flex you up to the next data tier for as little as $5. Then, when you get home, you can flex right back down with no penalty. So you only pay for what you actually need.
With Consumer Cellular, you get the exact same nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost.
I know what you're thinking. What if I don't have one of these amazing stores in my town yet? Can I get these phones sent to me?
Yes, you can.
Will our award-winning customer service help me switch over or add a line for $15 to make my own family plan?
Of course they will.
Is it easy?
Easy as pie.
You see that tower out there? It's a beauty. And there are thousands more like it, working hard for me and you, supplying 5G coverage to this beautiful nation of ours. We know how important coverage is. That's why we offer a risk-free guarantee. If you're not satisfied within 30 days of activation, you can pay nothing. Oh, look.
New customers who buy any phone get 2 months of service free when they sign up by July 31st.
Call 800-311-5340.
Or visit consumercellular.com to switch today.
She knows what she's talking about. Pick up the phone.
Watch this. It's all 100% real. Witness what happens to this woman's bags under her eyes in an actual time lapse in just minutes. Nothing has been doctored or tampered with. The very real problem will disappear before your eyes and hers with a revolutionary topical formulation that works in just minutes, and the effects will last for hours and hours. Over 1 million people are using this topical technique to visually reduce puffiness and bags. It works on sagging jowls, even fine lines and wrinkles on the face and forehead. Introducing Plexiderm. In just minutes, you can restore and beautify your face, even look years younger. And the look will last all day or all evening.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm just in love with the mirror right now.
Jump on board and say yes to this amazing $14.95 Prove It Plexiderm trial. You'll see why our customers describe Plexiderm with 3 words. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Order right now. We'll pay your shipping. Operators are standing by.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
Dr. Dale Cavanis claims he hasn't seen his son in over a month. But Dr. Dale is caught in his own lies. Dr. Dale confesses to police that he covered up his son's suicide to make it look like murder, to spare Sean's mother pain. But when police find out that 7 years earlier, Sean's brother Mark is also found dead of a bullet, both brothers dead at 22, they decide to look into Mark's death, which was deemed accidental at the time. Perhaps it was not an accident after all. Police call Kevin Cavanis on December 13th to tell him that his brother Sean has been shot dead. Kevin blurts out that he can't believe the nightmare is happening again.
That's not an answer most people would give when they would be told a family member had been shot to death. So that was something that really piqued that investigator's interest.
Kevin Cavanis tells police that in 1977, he lost another brother, Mark, to a bullet. Now both brothers are dead. Police decide to look at the case from 7 years earlier when Sean's brother Mark dies by a gunshot wound. 2 brothers die 7 years apart, both age 22, both lost in shooting deaths. Police want to see if they can gain insights into the recent murder by looking at what happened to Mark Cavanis in 1977. Dr. Dale tells the police a bizarre story of a cover-up. But there's another possibility. Dr. Dale is a known philanderer. Rumor is he's had many lovers. He has a very strong personality and has made enemies. Dr. Dale may have made the wrong person angry. Someone out there could have a grudge against the Cavanis family. Dr. Dale could be hiding someone that no one, as of yet, can imagine.
The term Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde is probably overused this day and age, but it was truly a comparison made in news articles at that time. By all accounts, he was very easily angered when he was in bed.
The divorce of his parents has a profoundly negative effect on Mark, the eldest son, and he drops out of school. This doesn't go over well with his high-achieving father, who considers him a no-good pot smoker. Dr. Dale's ex-wife Marion has telephone conversations with her ex-husband that are diatribes against Mark. Mark becomes depressed. Still, Mark keeps trying to earn his father's love. After the divorce, Mark moves back home to work for his father and becomes a permanent farmhand at the catfish raising operation. Though some say Dr. Dale treats Mark no better than any hired hand. Still, Mark keeps trying. And he's excited to bring the entire family together again for Easter in El Dorado in 1977. But when they arrive, Mark is nowhere to be found. His family looks for him.
Sean is excited to have them all together again, but it's strange to him that Mark isn't there. What's even stranger, though, is what his father says.
Dr. Dale tells them that he has a feeling deep inside and is sure that Mark is dead. True to Dr. Dale's prophecy, they find the decaying corpse of their eldest brother lying near his truck.
The actual body, unfortunately, was outside of the truck, and scavenging animals had heavily damaged the corpse and had to be confirmed through dental records. They knew it was him when they found him.
Police surmise that Mark took a single gunshot blast to the chest when he pulled the barrel of the gun towards himself.
Because of a lack of evidence, the death is deemed accidental.
Some facts that would not have held up to scrutiny by today's standards, had they had the ability to process DNA at that time like they do in 2002, probably wouldn't have stood up in court.
But Kevin argues against the fact that the coroner ruled it an accidental death because Mark was far too experienced with firearms to have ever handled a firearm in that way. However, there's no other theory that could be proven.
Just months before Mark dies, Dr. Dale takes out a $40,000 life policy in Mark's name, naming himself as the beneficiary.
One of the first things you have to look for in a homicide is always motive. And in this case, there's a clear financial motive for Dr. Dale, who stands to gain $148,000 from Mark's life insurance policy.
Police find that previously Dr. Dale convinces Sean and Kevin to take out insurance policies as well. The doctor himself pays the $1,000 monthly premiums, insisting that he will use it as a tax deduction to offset his income. Based on the police's suspicion of Dr. Dale's involvement in Mark's death and his lies about not seeing Sean, Dr. Dale is arrested and charged with murder.
Well, the town is taken aback and reels when they hear the news that Dr. Dale has been arrested.
Dr. Dale has touched so many lives in his community. He's their doctor. He sees them through their entire lives. Everyone is convinced that Dr. Dale couldn't possibly do this and that he must be innocent.
Well, the sense in the community was this was a man who had been framed for murder. That was the general consensus for a lot of folks.
Well, it's inconceivable to many in the town that this father of four, this well-known, well-liked, compassionate doctor, would take the life of two of his sons. It's a travesty of justice as far as they're concerned. Or is it?
Introducing the new Weight Watchers app. I've lost 60 pounds and I can still enjoy all of the foods that I love. Small changes lead to big results. Weight Watchers' new app features can make your weight loss journey easier. So all you gotta do is you. Join Weight Watchers today.
Hey, I just got a text from my sister. You remember Rick, her neighbor?
Sure. He's the 76-year-old guy who still runs marathons, right?
Sadly, not anymore.
What? You mean...
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Wow. So sudden. We're not about to have the we need life insurance conversation again, are we?
No, we're having the we're getting coverage so we don't have to worry about it conversation.
So you're calling about the $9.95 a month plan from Colonial Penn?
I am. We put it off long enough. We are getting that $9.95 plan today.
Is it time for you to call about the $9.95 plan? I'm Jonathan from Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company. Sometimes we just need a reminder not to take today for granted. It could be the death of someone you know or a health scare. That's why today could be a great day to call for free information about Colonial Penn's $9.95 plan. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance starting at just $9.95 a month. There are no health questions, so you can't be turned down for any health reason. This is permanent coverage. Just pay your premiums for lifelong security. The $9.95 plan is Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life plan. Options start at just $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. Your rate can never go up. It's locked in for life. Don't put it off. Take the first easy step. Call today for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. So call now.
Call 1-800-685-1515 for your free information and free gift. That's 1-800-685-1515. There's no risk or obligation. That number again is 1-800-685-1515. 1-800-685-1515. Call now.
Hello, Colonial Penn?
Before I would ever give a product to a patient, I tried on myself. So I started taking Super Beats and I said, wow, Super Beats is a game changer.
It's given me the energy that I want, the blood pressure support that I need.
Circulation, heart health. You feel like you can get things done.
I really am feeling a difference.
I just love it.
Over 1 million people have put Super Beats blood pressure support supplements to the test. And today, we have over 80,000 5-star ratings and reviews. We're trusted by over 120 pro and college sports teams. Super Beats is the only #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beef brand for heart health support.
It helps dilate blood vessels. It helps increase my circulation. It's having a beneficial effect on my heart and my energy. It makes me healthier.
My grandkids say, Grandma, I can't keep up with you. Where do you get your energy from? And I said, Super Beats.
Get a free month supply, plus free shipping and a 90-day money-back guarantee on all bundles, exclusively when you call or visit superbeats.com.
Dr. Dale Cavanis, who has devoted his career to serving his rural hometown of El Dorado, Illinois, is accused of murdering 2 of his own sons. Years earlier, Dr. Dale's family stand beside him when he is found guilty of reckless homicide.